Happy New Year to every one of you watching me, wherever you're watching from. It's an exciting year and it's about time to get those goals smashed, and I'm here to help you achieve them. So to start this year with a bang, I'm going to be giving you for free my Note 3 today. There's a download link down in the description below, and as you guys know, this channel is dedicated to like color grading for dark skin tone and lighting and cinematography tips for people of color. So in the spirit of giving us stuff, I will also be giving you lots and lots of free lots. So what I did there, lots of free lots. At the end of this video, your workflow would have improved because now you would have for free my fixed Note 3, and you'll be able to approach your grades with the consistency and finesse of a pro colorist. But in case you're just watching me for the first time, my name is T Saint. I'm a cinematographer and a colorist, and on this channel I help you become better at cinematography, lighting and color. Enough talk, let's jump into DaVinci Resolve, and I'm just going to show you how ideally I will set up my entire workflow, and so you guys can follow also. Okay, so the first thing I would usually do is to make sure my color management is on point. So come here, color management, color sciences, DaVinci YRGB. You want to keep your timeline color space as, you know, DaVinci White Gamut Intermediate. That's the color space I work in. I like to work in. Then I come to output color space Rec 709A. If you're on a Mac, if you're on a Windows, you can use Rec 709 Gamma 2.4. I'm on a Mac, so I'm going to keep it here and then say save. So that's the first thing you need to get out of the way. Now to import the lazy Note 3, which you probably have downloaded by now, you will come to your stills or power grid folder. I'd rather you keep it in a power grid folder. Let me delete this ones first. Then you can come here, right click and say imports. Then it takes you to the folder where you've downloaded. Most of the time it will be in your download folder. So for me now, I'm coming to my documents. That's where I've kept it. And you'll see these 4 files. So the reason why you have 4 files here is because I made 2 versions. I made the one for the free version of DaVinci Resolve, and I made the one for the studio version of DaVinci Resolve. So it depends on which one you're using. And there's a reason why I kept it free and studio. The one for the free version has some, you know, everything is there. You don't need any of the effects that you get from the paid version, like noise remover, elation, and co. On the studio version, you have everything else. So if you're on the studio version, download the studio version one. So I'll show you the free one first, because I would assume that some people use the free version. So you don't need to click everything. So if it was just a free version that you add, just click on this one, the free, and there you go. You can see while I over it, I can already see like this thing changes a look. So right click and say apply grade. Okay, we're going to clean up node graph, and this is the node graph that I work with. Now you have it on your computer. You should be proud of yourself. I'll just show you quickly how this works and what to do with it. But before I go into that, let me import the one for the studio version also, so you can see. So with the studio version, click on this, the DPX one, right click and say apply grade, and it has changed. You can see like it's kind of similar. The only thing's difference is some of these things that I kept, you know, I disabled. You can enable them if you want. This is noise remover. You can always disable them. This is glow, elation, and grain. The reason why I work this way is because I kind of like to keep everything just ready to go. You know, I like to be able to switch nodes. I like to be able to like jump from clip to clip, and everything is consistently there for me. I don't like to create from scratch every time. It might seem easy when I'm doing a video on YouTube and I'm showing you how to build the Note 3. But when it comes to powering through like an entire, like, let's say 1 hour worth of work, then it starts to like add up. You want to use a fixed Note 3. So this is the one I've gathered from people like Colin Kelly and Darren Mustin. These guys are like amazing colorists, and their channels are like very educational. And personally, I've fine-tuned to my taste, but this is how especially Darren Mustin likes to work. And but this is like a variation of it, just for myself, fine-tuned to how I like to do stuff. So I'm sharing this with you guys also, but also letting you know that this is originally from Darren Mustin. I'm just going to show you how that works and take you through the flow. So there's noise remover. Let's work with the studio version since we're here and it has more nodes anyways, right? Okay, so noise remover, you can activate that or deactivate that depending on what you want. I'm going to just make sure I clear this now. Then this is my IDT. This is very important, guys. So if you come to effects, this right now is kept as open as possible. So you have use timeline, input gamma, use timeline. If you're not very familiar with color management, there's a video on my channel that explains it into details, and it's very simplified. So please go check it out. Now, let's say you are shooting on the Sunny. So I'm going to bring a file that is shot on Sunny, S-Log 3, and let's use that instead of this Rec 709 shot. This shot is from ArtGrid, by the way, so it's Rec 709, and that's why when I put this on it changed everything already. So let's use a shot from Sunny. All right, so I've just added some clips from a spec ad I did some time ago, and this is on my channel also. If you want to see this this particular project, it's on my channel, and it's how to light and film dark skin people and to make it look very cinematic. But that's not what we're here today. I'm just going to show you how the node tree works on this. So let's use our node tree. Come into the gallery, let's use the studio version again and say apply grade. Okay, and you can see there's nothing that's happened unlike these other shots that came up with some color because it's Rec 709, and that's why that's behaving that way. If you're trying to grade a Rec 709 shot, all you have to do is just come here and change this to Rec 709. So I'm gonna just do that now. Change this to Rec 709, input gamma space, this, and then you're back to what the shot looked like. You can see when I enable, and we go full viewer. So when I enable now and I disable, see here, enable and disable, this enabled, disabled, nothing has happened because I've changed it back to Rec 709, which was the original starting point for that shot. But I digress. Let's go to this particular shot that I just added this to. So now we're going to switch this into the proper color space. So I'm going to come here and go down to S-Log3 as a Sunny S Gamma 3 Cine. Then the input gamma will be S-Log3. And that takes it from the input color space into DaVinci white gamut. Again, I have a full tutorial talking about this on my channel. Go check it out. Now, what you have done, this is the only thing that you need to do. I've done most of the work for you. So here you have the input display transform already. So you just have to change. If you shot on a Blackmagic, for example, just change this to Blackmagic, and then change it to, you know, the corresponding gamma, which is annoying in DaVinci Resolve. There's a lot for Blackmagic. If this was filmed on Array, you do the same thing. Come here, change this to, you know, Array log C3. The C4 sometimes is super bright, so you don't want to use that. So you come here and that's it. So if this was filmed on the Array, this is what it will look like. Okay. Sometimes I trick the system and I use the Array like color space to try to get my shot, but we're not doing that now. So let's go to the S-Log3 gamma Cine and the S-Log3 for the input gamma. So this would be me changing my input display to the correct input display. And if you come to the ODT, you can see I've already added the color space transform there, and it has gone from DaVinci white gamut, DaVinci intermediate to Rec 709 gamma 2.4, which is what you will probably need if you're working and you're not using any film look, like the KODAK 2383 in DaVinci Resolve. Now, let's say you want to use the KODAK look, right, which I've used a lot in my tutorials. How do you, because if you know from the color management, what you're supposed to do is to come here and change this to Cineon film log, right? Where's that? So you can put the LUT after. Just to make that easier for you guys, what I've done is I've started not to do that. I have created another node here, which is a compound node. If I open this compound node now, and yeah, if I show you what is this compound node right now, you can see what I've done here is I've put in another color space transform, and I've converted from Rec 709 to gamma 2.4 to Cineon film log, and I've added the film look here. Okay, so the film look is that you can switch it to whichever film look you want, but right now it's on 23 3D65. And the reason why I did this is because it's easier for me to decide if I want to use a film look. I can easily activate. So I'm just gonna like, if I want to use a film look for my grade, I can easily activate this and just activate it, and then you can see it's converted for me already. And if I don't want a film look, I want to grade in Rec 709 without the Cineon film log, then I will disable this and I'll be fine. So use this if you want a film look. It's already pre-made for you, and just enable and disable depending on what your project needs. So I'm going to move on quickly and power through the entire node tree. So you've got the exposure here. You can do your primary balance, lift gamma again. You guys know the vibe. Again, I'm using my panel, but you can do this without a panel. So don't stress, don't buy stuff. This year, don't buy stuff that you don't need, okay? You don't need a panel now if you're starting out your career as a colorist. I got this because it's faster, but I know a couple of guys that work perfectly well with their mouse and their keyboard. So you can do proper color grade without a panel. Will you do it as fast? Maybe not, but you can do it properly. All right, so the next one is the contrast node. And here you can decide to make your stuff contrasty. Enable, disable. That's already there. Here is the HSV saturation I like to use. And you guys know I like to use my HSV a lot. So I've already pre-made that. So if you come to color space, HSV is there. Channels 1 and 3 disabled. So you can just come here and use your midtone straight up. And also use your highlights if you want to, your gamma and your gain if you want to saturate. So that's already pre-built into the node tray. Balance is where everything shines, because now you have to manually look at your shots and decide where the balance is. So for this one, for example, again, I'm just pushing things around. Let's say we want to make it a bit warmer because it's supposed to be like sunsets vibey. So let's give it some temperature and take the tint away a bit. You know, I'm not going to go into this now because I can get distracted easily and start doing that. But that's what you use the balance node for. Coming to the HSL, you know what to do in the HSL already if you've been following my videos. If not, there's a beginner guide. I have a playlist dedicated to beginners that talks about the curves, the scopes, the HSL, the primary tools like the lift, gamma, gain, and everything about DaVinci Resolve to start off. So I would recommend that you stop this video now, go watch that video. Then when you're done, then you're more confident, you can come back and continue. Okay. All right. So that's the HSL. And this is for you to do your isolations and everything else in terms of hue. So for example, you can move this, you can move the hue of the greens and just take them away. You can move the blues and decide whatever you want to do with them. Here you can have a lot of fun. I'm not going to do that now, but you guys can do whatever you want to do. So if this is a vibe you're going for, all the best to you, but I'm not very sure anybody will pay you to do this. But if that's your vibe, why not? Okay, so skin node, I'm going to reset this now because, yeah, no, it looks good actually. It looks good, like a good thumbnail, so let's keep it. So skin node is where you can do all your skin isolation, which I'm sure would be a very horrible thing to do now because our skin is green. You can see, so you can do your skin isolation here. It's there for you to do anything else. Sec 1 and Sec 2, secondary 1, secondary 2. You can do anything here. I just kept them open. I always keep it open. I can decide to use a color whopper here or whatever, depending on the vibe, depending on what I'm feeling like. So if I want to use a color whopper, I'll just come here and use a color whopper. And I know fully well that I've done that. And we can move on. Sec 2, the same thing. It's like an extra node for me to do anything. And these are all parallel nodes. If you don't understand how these nodes work, there's a video talking about nodes on my channel. Please go check it out and you'll be glad you did. Moving on, I have another node here called adjustments. This is where you can say, okay, I've done some things. I want to just do like a global adjustment. So this is where you can do that in adjustments. This is a node for that. This is one of my favorite nodes. These ones, and these are like power windows, and a lot of people know fully well that you use power windows a lot, you know, especially when you're trying to, let's say you're trying to how do I explain this now? You're trying to relight, you want to bring focus to people, you want to create vignettes and maybe like darken the backgrounds and stuff. So let's leave this horrible shot right now. It's actually like hurting my eyes at this point, so I'm going to reset this. Let's come back normal. Okay, let's be normal people. So I'm going to reset this, and as you guys can see, I just copied the node from here, so I don't even have to like keep going back to the gallery and using this. As long as it's on one, I can copy it across the entire project. Select everything like shift A, and then just right click the node with it and say apply grade, and say this, and everything now has that. Everything on my timeline has that node tray. And again, he has copied all the nonsense colors I did. So we don't want to do that. Let's come to these shots and continue doing everything on these shots. What did I do here to make this look this weird? Who knows? Oh, I think I know. The color whopper. So the color whopper, let's reset that. So that's another thing that you guys should, before you start coloring and trying to transfer, make sure that your node tree is clean so you don't transfer things that you don't want on certain things to so you don't transfer things you don't want to the entire shot. So let me do that again now. Select everything, right click this one and say apply grade and replace. Everything now has taken that node tree. Okay, so let's continue with this shot. This is from a spec I did with a friend of mine. It's on my channel. You can check it out also. It's called Maybe. And it talks about men's mental health. So it's a really lovely short film with a lot of lessons, with a lot of things to learn as filmmakers. Okay, let's move on and talk about the power windows. So I've created power windows here that I use every other time. And it's not all of them I use. That's another thing about the node tree. Because you have like 28 nodes, like in my case now, doesn't mean you have to use everything. There are times when I use just less than 10. There are times when I use more, but it depends on your project. The good thing about having a fixed node tree is that you always have it there. So whenever you need to use it, you can easily jump around and get what you need. You don't have to keep recreating. It also helps you become familiar with your node. So I kind of know where I'm going to. If I'm looking for my contrast, I know where I'm going to. It's always on the 4th node. If I'm looking for power windows, it's always around the 13th to 22 nodes. Okay, so let's talk about this for a while. So there's a power window left, right, center, top, and bottom. And you can see in front of it, there's the outside ones. So what I've done is create windows, but create the inversion of those windows. Let's say we want to brighten the left side of this shot. If I click the highlight button, you will see that this power window is affecting the left side of this shot. So if I raise the gain of that, let me remove that. If I raise the gain of that, and let me say I push some colors into it, you can clearly see what's going on, right? You can see what's going on. I'm affecting these bits of the shot. Let's say I want to work on the outside, which is like, okay, so I've affected this, but I want to darken the other part of it, which is the reverse of what I've just done. If I come to the outside node, I can easily do that. So let me bring that down. So that's why I've created this outside. So when you do something in the inside, if you want to create something in the outside of it, you can easily use this ones. So let's remove that. The same thing with power window right. If I want to affect the right, that happens. If I want to do something in the outside of the right, that happens. And you might think like, why not just use power left and use the outside as a right? It's not the same thing, because if you look at it, there's the range that the power right is affecting is different from the range the power left is affecting. So just to make things tidy, I like to keep it this way. It's just more organized and it helps my brain. So if that's your thing also, hopefully you're grateful that happens. Now this is the most common one I used. It's called the power window. It's the center, this one in the middle. And if you want to see what that's doing, that's it. So you can actually activate this and move it around. So let's say you want to power window a face. You bring that to the face, soften it, give it whatever you want to give it, give it color, and that's your power window ready, instead of having to come here and create. And if you want the outside node again, the outside node is here, and let's say we want to make that a different color. See, everything outside has taken that color right now. So this is there for you to be organized. So let's just reset that. And again, this is the bottom. You can see where it's pointing at is the bottom. I can, and then this is the outside of that. Okay, so this is wrong actually. Sorry, this is the top. So that was the top, and this is the bottom. And you can see what's going on. So I'm going to reset that quickly. And this is the bottom, just to show you guys, if you want to affect the bottom, if you want to jump into outside and affect the outside of the bottom, there you go. So I love this because it's just, everything is just there. Now for the goodies, you have the glow, the elation, and grain. And if you activate the glow, activate it now, you can see it's added glow to the entire shot. You have to go in here and, dial it to taste anyways, because it depends on your projects. There are chances where, or there are projects where you don't need a lot of glow. There are projects where you don't need it at all, so you can disable it. But it's already here for you. Instead of coming to the effect and finding it every time, it's already here on your timeline. And then you can disable if you don't want. Then there's elation, and it's here already also. You can come in and put it into anything you want, depending on your projects. So it's always turned off when you have the node tray. You don't have to use it. And there's grain also. So you can come in the same way and use the grain. Great. This is the ODT And like I said, you can enable and disable this. So it is the film look. If you don't want it, you want it grayed directly. In the next video, you guys will be getting a free LUT that I've built specifically for you, for viewers of this channel. So if you are going to use that, you can disable this and create a node here and just add the node here for the LUT. I'll be sharing that in the next video. So if you want that, please make sure you stick around, and that will be dropping sometime this week, and I'll let you know. So that's it. If I'm going to quickly just show you what happens in the free version of DaVinci Resolve, the node tree, it's very similar. You have the same thing. You have the KODAK here, which I believe is in the free version also. The same thing is here. The only thing is there's no noise remover. If you notice, the first node is the IDT. So we're going to come here and do the same thing. slog3, change this to slog3, because I know I shot on the Sony FS6. You have your exposure. Sorry, that's wrong. Exposure, you can do your balance here, your primary balance. You've got your contrast here. Also, you can do your contrast however you want it. Your HSV is the same thing I've done in the other one. It's very similar, so you're not missing out on anything. The only things you don't have are all those other effects that come with the studio. Your balance is the same thing. You can balance your shots in the balance node. Then you've got the HSL, skin, sec 1, sec 2. The adjustment node is also here if you need to do any last minute adjustments to the final look. Then you have your power windows the same way here, all ready for you to go. And then you've got the trim. So this trim is like another layer of adjustment. So in case you want to do anything else, or maybe the director says this shot is too let's try to push some warmth into it, then you can do that. You can also do that here, but I just added that one here. Thinking about it now, I think the studio version needs a trim also, so I'm going to add a trim for you guys. Yep. Anyways, then instead of the elation, glow, and everything else, it goes straight to the oddity, which is the same thing. White gamut, like 709, gamma 2.4. Don't forget, you also need to your color management must be in this color space so that it works with the settings here. So DaVinci YRGB, DaVinci White Gamut Intermediate, Rec 709A if you're on a Mac, Rec 709 Gamma 2.4 if you're on a Windows. Okay, but that's not the only thing that you need to you set up when you're trying to create a consistent look. Using LUTs can also help you, keep a consistent look across your grid. In the next video, I'll be sharing with you a free LUT that I've built specifically for you, and I'll also be showing you how to create cinematic looks from scratch.